Top of the morning, fellas, and yes, we're back again. I'm stacking a little bread. I got to get this equipment so I can give you guys these camera angles that you guys like. You want to see some of that real time infield footage. So we got all of that coming on the way. What I want to talk about today, one of my guys, he gives me good feedback. So that's a plus. He's loving the channel. Hopefully, you guys that are not in personal reach or contact, with me are enjoying it as well. What I notice here is that in this country, and people say, well, why is it about race all the time? And why is it about, because race it's no longer race, but it's a class that we're in. We're classified. White is not a race. Black is not a race. Nowhere on the planet will you find a place called white or black. So that is more of a class system that we fall under. But the reason why black men were socially engineered to fail in life and relationships is simply because white society, mainstream society, does not want to acknowledge, or I want to say empower, the black woman being the black man's woman. They are considered property. All of the agendas that you see via movies, entertainment, and I did a forecast and a prediction. You're going to see this come to fruition. You heard it here first. I was noticing Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden going in on Fresh and Fit. I tell you guys, the speakers of truth are usually the most hated. And you have to ask yourself why. It's because there is always power in truth, which is why they go to many, they go to great lengths to silence it. Nicki Minaj is not really musically relevant. She just did a song with Lil Baby. It's okay. But mainstream society uses all of its extensions of economics to push their agendas. They have to socially engineer us to get a certain outcome. If we thought for ourselves, who would be going to buy gas at $8 a gallon? Why wouldn't people just say, you know what? My job is not adjusting my pay for the gas and the amount that it takes to commute. Fuck that, I'm not going to work, and we should not be buying gas. It's a simple fix. But because society know that we are bred and conditioned in fear, they know we're going to pay $8 a gallon while complaining, but we're still going to pay it. But anyway, Nicki Minaj is going in on the Manosphere, and I'm seeing a lot of talks now. The Manosphere is pretty much has been targeted now. I was listening to an old friend of mine, Isis Jones, last night. She's a radio broadcaster. She was talking about, the Manosphere, Kevin Samuels, etc. The Manosphere is now under the microscope because it is the last, or one of the last, until we create another space, because it's always room for growth and we must adapt. It's no different than the Black Panther Party, the Civil Rights Party, all of these parties that were meant for a certain upliftment of men and women, just in their rightful place. Nicki Minaj is being used because she has been made a multi-millionaire. And you're not just going to ride off into the sunset. You notice when these, depending on their influence, depending on their financial status, a lot of these artists, they never really just fade to black and ride off in the sunset after they had their run. They're still tied into the mainstream media, some form, shape, or fashion. Jay-Z, Kanye, all of these rappers who, made an impact, they're still going to be used until they're no longer useful. Nicki Minaj still has a certain level of influence, and what she's doing, she's posturing up and positioning herself to transition into mainstream media. You're going to see Nicki Minaj doing podcasts. She's going to have a platform, and she's going to be used to destroy male spaces, especially black male spaces who have a certain level of standard, a certain level of masculinity, and certain talking points which point out the debauchery and the toxicity in modern women today. You heard it here first. But I may do another video on that. It may do a full in-depth breakdown. I think I want to start getting into the reactions and the breakdown of, certain content. I think about it. But you look at black men in this society, our women are not looked at as our women. Black women are the property of the government. That's why they get all of these government subsidies. They get the Section 8. They get all of these amenities to make sure you do not deal with a man. You don't need a man. That's why you can't be on Section 8 and have a man in the house, because I'm your man. You look at the black men, they're not given the best treatment by their mothers. These single mothers thinking they're superwoman, talking about, I'm going to do for mine. Mine will have the J's, stay in this neighborhood. But if you're spending 12 to 14 hours out of your day to make sure you're bringing in the income, who's raising your son? Society is. Public education is. Public education is the worst thing that a black boy or anybody can endure, especially for 18 years. And then you get out, you go to college, and they say, hey, you go to college, you get a useless degree. And nobody with logic and reason says, well, okay, well, if I have 100,000 graduates in this field, how many job openings are in this field? See, they don't tell you that part. But black men, the boomer and the Gen X, they have just taken it on the chin. As long as they have somewhere to stay and somewhere to lay, they're going to sit back in silence and say nothing because they're weak. Black men have been engineered to fail because black men are not looked at unless they're an entertainer. Unless there's something of that, an athlete, entertainer, that is the only time a black man is even given a space to speak on mainstream media. You notice they don't have a lot of doctors, business specialists. They don't have these guys propped or promoted as men of means and power. They may do a segment here and there, but it's not going to be mainstream. They're not going to be mainstream. So you put these boys who, again, have weak fathers or no father at all in a social setting, he's going to pretty much channel his toxic mother or his independent mother's mindset, his emotional unstable mother's mindset onto society. You look at how he operates in a relationship. He feels that, man, this is happy wife, happy life. Where did this come from? See, we throw these sayings out and they get regurgitated because women are the echo chamber of selfish thought and solipsism. They're the echo chambers of this. Women still thinking they're baddies at 45, 40 years old, still thinking they can do OnlyFans and do all of this, and they neglect their children. I told you guys I'm witnessing this firsthand. A mother abandoning her children for her own greed, her own satisfaction. And then these boys grow up and you ask, well, why are so many black men failing at relationships? Why are so many black men not desired by women? Why are so many black men being divorced and left by women? It's simply because most black men grew up without identity. They had a father, but the father was only a wallet and a disciplinarian when needed. Nowadays, you can't even discipline your children. So pretty much they're just a wallet and an occasional dildo when their woman wants to have sex. So what will a man who watches his father grow up to be? In most cases, he's going to do the same exact thing. The smart one, the ones that get certain exposure to certain things, they have a small window. This is why I love my mentoring organization so much. You should check us out, C4 Mentoring. Yes, we do the work. We don't just get on the internet and talk. Next week, we will be in Houston on a black college tour with our boys who we started back in 2016, and we are still growing and showing. But you have these men who go through these relationships that get treated like shit, and they think this is the standard. This is the norm. This is what's supposed to happen. Your woman is supposed to talk to you in a condescending manner. Your woman is supposed to treat you like a sucker. Your woman is supposed to rebel against you. This is commonplace. You're supposed to fight with your women. I see so many videos with women being choked, beat on by their boyfriend. In one particular video I saw last night, I may post it. This man is choking his baby mother, who I think is pregnant. And she pretty much tells on herself. She says, "You always treat me like this." Meaning you knew who and what he was before before you posted this video of him choking you. You admitted yourself that he always treats you like shit. Therefore, this shows that you pick shit. This shows this is what you pick. This is what attracts you. This is what you're used to. And I have no I wouldn't say resolve, but I have no remorse of firing your ass when you get out of pocket. I will get rid of you quickly because I know where I'm going. I know the path that I'm on, and I love getting better. Right now I'm in a mode to where everything I do is going to get better. Myself, my health, I'm in the gym. And I also notice, I want to sidebar one moment as far as the gym. If you're in the gym, fellas, stop taking pictures and photos trying to garner attention and looks from women. Get in the gym and get in the lab in silence and let them see you. Let your work speak for itself. I see so many guys, I'm in the gym, but you see them, it looked like they just got off a 2-week tour of eating donuts, lasagna, and chicken wings and ranch cheese fries. You don't have to show the world that you're working. Show them the work. But simping and pandering is the Achilles heel of the modern day black man, because this is the only ticket he feels he has to gain entry into a woman's space. He has to pay his simp tithe or his simp tax first before she can engage him. This is one of the pitfalls of black men in modern day and even days of old. You have no identity. You don't understand your environment. You don't understand the dynamics between the male and female of mostly all animal species. Power trumps understanding. Women don't want to understand how and why you got your power. They just want to know that you got it. This is why you see the dope boys with all the women. They get in the Escalade, they get in the Hellcats. Next thing you know, their car is shot up or they're duct tape up in the basement. But she didn't care about that. She just saw that he had the money and the means. Women understand this dynamic. That's why they go to spaces and they tag people. Hey, I need help. He's talking about us again. Let's cancel him. Hey, let's come up with some allegations to put on him. He has money. Let's get him. And the women get off scot-free. Black men were socially engineered to fail in this time. Not in this time, but on this land. Because to be empowered, to have identity, to understand your presence and value is to become a threat to the economy and to white supremacy as a whole. And I always had a saying, and I didn't coin this phrase, but I heard it and I embedded it in my brain. Until you understand white supremacy, everything else is going to confuse you. You think these waves of feminism, sexual liberation, all of these things just so happen to fall out of the sky and women say, hey, we're going to run with this one. You think they just had a list and say, hey, pick one. And they just said, let me pull feminism and sexual liberation off the table. All of this is by design. This is all by design. But you guys let me know what you think about this video. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Date Master.